my name is Staci Alden, Master Instructor for Balanced Body. We're here in the Balanced Body studio with JT today, and we're going to show you some great exercises that you can do using the rotator discs. So they are lying flat on the ground. We have the sticky pads underneath them to keep them nice and still while the rotation is happening. There's a variety of basically resistance options that you can choose using these rotating discs. We chose heavy today because JT is very strong, and we're going to start with first warming up his hips. So this is all lower body exercises today. You can do upper body with the rotator discs, but I'll have JT just stand on top of the rotator discs first. And I will admit that sometimes it's a little uneasy for your clients to jump onto this piece of equipment because it is, as you can see, they do rotate. So the first thing we'll have JT do is just to get used to being in that kind of unstable position. We'll have him just rotate his legs out, moving from the hip joint and then bringing them back to neutral. So he's using his hip external rotator muscles to open his feet out to the side and bring them back to neutral. He could go medial rotation. We're not going to do that today just because a lot of what we're doing is external rotation, but just to kind of warm up the hips a little bit. His knees are slightly bent. We do want to make sure that's happening. And then we'll actually move into some single leg exercises using the rotator disc. So first I'll have JT go ahead and step off toward me, and he'll have one leg on the rotator disc, the other leg off of the rotator disc. And all he's going to do is just keep that right leg open as he does kind of a sumo squat. So he'll just bend his knees, keeping his chest lifted. While he's squatting, he's going to try his best to keep that toe out to the side. So he's being really, really stable with that right leg. And then he can actually add some movement, and he can bring his toes forward as he stands up. So we're starting with just holding still, and that can help your clients build that awareness. And then as he stands up and lets those toes come forward, we're building that awareness of, okay, now I'm letting my toes rotate forward. So I'm in control of what's happening in my hips. We'll do one more here, and then we'll get a little bit more intense as far as the movement goes. But what's great about these rotator discs is they can allow our clients to rotate into a lunge from here. So he's going to go from a sumo squat, really slow, because this is tough with that heavier resistance, really slow in that squat, lifting the heel that's on the rotator disc. He has to try to hold it still as he lunges again, which is tough, and then come back to that sumo squat. Let's just do one more on this side, really trying to also keep this front leg, that knee behind the toe. Doesn't have to be super deep. Nice. And then stand up nice and tall. Let's have him do the other side, and then we'll make our way down into a glute bridge position. So he's now putting his left leg on the disc, the rotator disc, starting with that stable motion. So he's holding his leg. He's aware of his hip, holding that leg open. And most likely he felt a difference when he already went to the side on one leg versus the other because those glutes were really activated. Those external rotators were really activated. So now we'll add that motion. So we're letting the toes now as he comes up go forward and then open wide as he comes down. Beautiful. And really ask them questions. How are you feeling on this side versus the other side? Does this side feel easier? Does it feel harder? Have them listen to their body. Is something happening in their body? And now let's go into that nice slow sumo squat to that lunge rotation. So lots happening here. He goes from that big external rotation to internally rotating, holding that internal rotation as he lunges, back up, open up, and squat. Last one here before we move to quadruped. Rotate and squat. Come up, rotate back, and that's it for standing. Let's make our way down to the floor for some supine glute bridging. So now we've brought JT down to the ground for basically a bridging position. We've placed both of his feet on a rotating disc. And really what I like to do here with clients is when they bridge up, I ask them to become aware of where their feet like to go, or I might even see it myself as their instructor. And actually right as you set up the rotating discs, you might start to realize where they place their feet right away is obviously a place where they might feel like they're most stable, which may not be ideal. They might have one leg closer to the other, One leg, or they like to have their legs wider, or legs narrower. So really finding that more power position aligned with the hips is what we're looking for. So I'm just gonna have JT bridge up, and while he's here, noticing, do the legs start to go in or out? Does one foot go in or the other? And maybe asking him some questions about what he is feeling, and then he can lower his hips back down. You can kind of reposition the feet, maybe grab a lighter pair of rotator discs to identify where that change, if that change might happen. And you can do some external internal rotation here. It's going to be small. But let's just do one more bridge, and asking them to, of course, press into the middle of their feet, driving up and noticing there is a little wiggle of his feet as he bridges up. Let's lower those hips down. I hope those rotator disc ideas help you with your clients in identifying where their weaknesses are, where their strengths are, and where they might find that they have some imbalances when they're in that bridge position.